No Jamal Murray, no Michael Porter Jr., no Nikola Jokic. Nuggets win. This is Locked On Nuggets. Welcome to Locked On Nuggets, your daily Denver Nuggets podcast, part of the Locked On Network, your team every day. Thanks for making us your first listen each and every day. We're free and we're available on all platforms. My name's Matt Moore. I'm the senior NBA writer for the Action Network and the Nuggets insider for 104.3 The Fan in Denver. You can catch me on every Nuggets postgame show throughout the season, as well as throughout the day on various shows with various people. On today's show, we will talk about the incredible, unbelievable, heartwarming, inspiring, thrilling. That's a word for it. The thrilling win over the Indiana Pacers by the Denver Nuggets without their three highest paid players. We'll get into the reasons why. Will Barton. We'll get into the struggles. Not Will Barton. We'll get into how it went down, what it means, as well as my thoughts on the Nuggets defense, which continues to be really impressive. Do want to tell you that today's show is brought to you by McDonald's, proudly serving communities since 1965. McDonald's has always been more than just a place to get tasty, affordable food. It's an unofficial community center. A big thank you to our friends at McDonald's for always being there. I'm loving it. All right. Here we go. So the Denver Nuggets go into this game. They start Dos Verdes, that Dos Verdes, which is supposed to not work together, and it worked tonight because Will Barton was absolutely fantastic. The team just played with a lot of heart tonight. That's a reductive sentence. If you told me like 10 years ago that I was going to start off a recap by saying the team played with a lot of heart, I would have slapped myself. But it's just really true that this team could have quit. This is a perfect spot to quit. You got the big win over the Heat. It's a letdown game. Jokic is out. You could have let this one go. The Nuggets have always responded in moments of adversity, and this was yet another example of how they do that. And I want to make this clear that Jokic was part of building the culture. He's a big part of building the culture, and the team reflects his impact on that culture. There are several GMs I've spoken with that will say the kind of axiom, that's a better one, axiom that your team always takes on the identity of your star player, and the Nuggets take on the selfless work ethic and passion that Nikola Jokic brings. However, this team is also Michael Malone's. It is. It's Michael Malone's and it's Will Barton's and it's Tim Conley's. Like, this team is more than just Nikola Jokic, and they proved it tonight. This was an absolute letdown spot. This Pacers team is not bad. This is not the Rockets. This is not the Pistons. This is not a walkover team. This is actually a team that I think is pretty good. That's lost right now. They should be looking themselves in the mirror after this one. But this is a pretty good team, and the Nuggets absolutely scrapped out this win. Will Barton goes for 30 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, just 2 turnovers in only 33 minutes and 53 seconds. He played 34 minutes tonight. Barton only needed to play less than 34 minutes in a game in which MPJ, Murray, and Jokic were all out. That's wild. He was a +7, which obviously wound up being the key differential in a game that they won by a grand total of 3 points. Barton was electric. 11 of 19, attacked the rim, 6 of 9 from 3. The step backs, the fadeaways, the middies, everything. Absolutely had all of it going. Jeff Green gave them a good 12 points, 4 of 11 shooting, but gave them good minutes. I actually liked the Dos Verdes combo, what they gave them. They attacked the rim. They rotated well. The defense was really good. They committed to it. Monte Morris, again, 4 of 10 points on 10 shots doesn't sound great for Monte. It was enough. He gave them enough. The 2 3-pointers he hit were big momentum shifts that helped them early on in this game. Look, you look at the scoring and it was basically just Barton and a bunch of defense. Like, that's how they got this done. And if you were going to build a model for how to win this game, that's what you would have said. You would have absolutely said this. They held the Pacers to a 106.5 offensive rating. That's absolutely stellar. Anytime that, you could say, Matt, they scored 98 points. I know that he played well. It was a Munder. I get it. The point is that you can play the Nuggets play at such a slow pace. Like, this reflects it, right? Like, 106.5 is higher than 98, obviously. And the reason is the Nuggets play so slow and they control it. Once again, the Nuggets have fewer turnovers than their opponent and they get the win. But Will Barton's the story of this game. They traded for Will, and I thought it was a good pickup. I thought it was a really good addition. It was just what they needed, a veteran. But to be honest with you, you know, it felt very much at the time like, okay, Will be like a good fill-in veteran for a couple of years as they get their feet. And then like Will started talking, and you could just tell that for whatever reason, Will sensed in Denver that there was. I think he sensed more than I'm. This is me projecting. To me, it felt like Will sensed that there was an absence. And what I mean by that is there wasn't anybody that was like claiming Denver. There wasn't anybody that he had to like battle a turf over. Like this was something that could be his. And I think that's what Will wanted. Like it was never his in Portland. It was never going to be his in Portland. He loved Portland. Portland loved him. You know, those were really good early years for him. But in Denver, he had an opportunity to build something and he's stuck with it. And I'll be honest with you, there were various points when I didn't think that it was going to stick. After he came back from injury in the 2019 playoffs and was a shell of himself, didn't know how that was going to go the year after. Came back stronger. Got hurt again in the bubble. Got hurt in the bubble and left in the bubble and didn't return. I didn't know what was going to happen after that. Like the bubble was a pretty tough situation, and that was a rough thing to be without Will for that duration. Comes back last year, helps them, and in that brief time when they were healthy with Gordon, he was a huge part of why they were so dominant. Gets hurt again last year, and look, these performances in November are great, but there's still gonna be questions about Will until he's there in the playoffs. But this needs to be noted that Will is here for these moments, that he wants to be here for these moments. If his body is able, Will's spirit is willing. That's all it has to be. It has to be there for is Will's spirit is always ready for this because Will loves basketball. Will just genuinely loves this game. You know, he loves to play. He plays with a lot of passion. He plays with a lot of fire. Will doesn't go through the motions. Will's invested in every game I've ever seen him play. And he showed it tonight. Look, is Will like was this a good combination of Will had it going offensively and there was nobody else to take away shots from him, so he was able to get up 19 shots in the game, which he very rarely is able to do. Sure, but that's what they needed tonight. They needed him to do this, and he stepped up and he delivered, and he deserves all the credit in the world for willing them, no pun intended, to a victory. He got them there with his scoring. He got them there with his toughness. He got them there by attacking the rim, drawing fouls. Will Barton is like, he belongs to Denver. And I'm hopeful that after a lot of years of him being a figure that, you know, when he was booed, like he's talked about that as like such a big deal in those playoffs. And that really changed his relationship. But I am confident that there's still a chance for Will to become a truly beloved figure in Denver sports history. And it's because of nights like this tonight. So credit to Will Barton. We'll talk about the rest of the team and how they got this win when we come back on Locked On Nuggets. But first, I do want to tell you about BetOnline, which is back and better than ever. They got a new web interface for the start of basketball season. They got more props, more odds, more lines than ever before. They're the number one spot for all the basketball and football action this season. Head to the new updated desktop or mobile website. Sign up today using promo code LOCKEDON, LOCKEDON, and you get a 50% welcome bonus. That's a great bonus to get you started with your betting. Basketball, football, baseball, postseason, NHL, boxing, and UFC. Don't wait to take advantage of all the amazing offers available for the 2021 season. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet all your favorite sports. BetOnline, where the game starts. We'll be right back on Locked On. Back here on Locked On Nuggets. Thanks for making us your first listen each and every day. We're free and we're available on all platforms. Matt Moore back with you, recapping the Nuggets' 101-98 victory over the Indiana Pacers. Oh boy, the Pacers have to feel like absolute garbage for losing this game. Look, Sabonis was 9 of 14 in this game for 20 points. I don't know how he and Turner only go for 22 points, or 22 shots rather. The Pacers got really 3-point happy in this game. This is where I will tell you. The reason I tell you this is because I feel like on other shows, you can just get like the feel good stuff. And like everything I said about the inspirational matter of this win was real. Like Zeke Nnaji, great story. We'll get to him in the third segment. This show has been built. And the reason that Adam wanted me to be a part of it was for like the deep basketball discussion. And so as a part of that, I have to tell you, like, the Pacers settled in this game. It takes two to make a win like this happen. Because if the Pacers play their best ability against the Nuggets, missing the guys that they were missing, this should have been a blowout the other way. This should have been a Pacers blowout. Just should have been. But it wasn't because the Nuggets rose to meet the challenge, but the Pacers also failed to meet a level to get this done. They settled for 3. Think about this. The Pacers in this game, okay? They take 31 3-pointers in a game in which Nikola Jokic is not in the paint. They faced JaMychal Green and Jeff Green, and they settled for 3-pointers. Chris Duarte, 2 of 7 from 3-point range. Justin Holiday, 2 of 6. Malcolm Brogdon, who hit some huge shots in the fourth quarter, was 11 of 21, did have 25 points, but he, 3 of 7 from 3-point range. They shot 36% from 3, which is fine, right? They have all these shooters. I get it. But they really needed, honestly, they needed somebody to get aggressive and attack the rim. They were without Karis LeVert. Like, that clearly, I think, was a big miss for them tonight. Not that they're going to get a lot of sympathy, given that, the Nuggets were without Nikola freaking Jokic. But this was, like, my big takeaway is, like, why would you not just punish them over and over again with Sabonis and Turner? You have all these advantages. You have all these matchup advantages. Turner was 1 of 4 from inside 3-point range, or 1 of 5 rather. How's that happen? Turner is not a complete player, but he's very, very good. And he had some really good defensive sequences tonight. He also had some really rough ones. He got attacked consistently. The Nuggets just got the better of a really good defender in Miles Turner tonight. But I thought the Pacers absolutely left them off the hook with how they approached this game offensively. That leads us to the defense, though, which, folks, this defense is legit for Denver. It just is. Look, the Pacers shot 48% from the field and 36% from 3, but in spite of all of that and with their huge size advantage inside, they still only put up a 106.5 offensive rating. That is more than good enough to get the job done. And when you go back and watch, it feels a lot more like they were disruptive and physical. The Nuggets are very physical this season in a way that I did not expect, right? And this is was started in the Heat game where the Heat tried to bully them and it just didn't work, which led to Markeith's nonsense, which led to the Jokic foul, et cetera, et cetera. The Nuggets are playing really physical. They're there at you at every level of contest. In previous seasons, the Nuggets were able to kind of scheme out various defensive stuff because part of it, I've talked about this, the whole scheme of, hey, let's blitz the ball handler, gets the ball out of the best players in the league's hands. You're playing the Blazers. If you blitz Dame and he has to pass it, Damian Lillard's no longer the one shooting the ball. That's a win for you. But now they genuinely are just disruptive. They're just physical with guys. You can feel the Nuggets if you're playing against them. That's a big change. Aaron Gordon deserves a lot of credit for that. I think Will Barton actually has played with a lot of intensity. Monte Morris is getting up under guys. Everybody's playing with a high level of physicality, and you can feel it. And even guys that don't necessarily have the physical ability to do so are contributing in that manner. Like Bones Highland is still trying to be physical, even though he's not physically capable of doing that yet because of where his strength and conditioning program and his body is at such a young age. The Nuggets are an intensely physical team this season, and that was a big reason why the Pacers were settling. They're in altitude. They think that they've got it. They don't have a motivational edge, and they just settled night in and night, or shot in and shot out, possession in, possession out, because the Nuggets were making things really physical. Aaron Gordon deserves a lot of credit for this, where, again, Gordon goes 2 of 10 tonight, right? He's a +2, 8 points on 10 shots, right? What is Gordon good for? The physicality that Aaron Gordon plays with has an effect on the opponent. It does do things. He needs to shoot better for them to be a great team. I'm not disputing that. But I don't want you to think that Aaron Gordon gave them nothing tonight. Because when you go back and you watch, you're going to see a lot of points where Gordon is contesting under the rim without fouling, verticality, on the perimeter, closing out hard, getting over screens to shut down possessions and force them to reset. The Pacers were not able to get to the shots that were easy and comfortable for them, in part because of the way that the Nuggets played, and Aaron Gordon's athleticism plays a huge role in setting that physicality. So the Nuggets defense is legit. I'm ready to go ahead and say that. And to get this done without Nikola Jokic, who has been so good defensively, boy, is this a weird world. Adam's never going to let me live it down after he said that he could be as good as Marc Gasol. He's never going to let me live it down. It's just absolutely wild. So credit, honestly, a lot of it, this goes to Jordi Fernandez, who took over as defensive coach on Malone's bench after Wes Unseld left. This team is playing with intensity and physicality that mostly is on the players accepting that challenge. But they're getting it done with defense. And if they are the defensive team that they've been the last any of the previous seasons, they don't win this game tonight. Barton has a good game, but it's not enough. They got it done because their entire team is committed to playing great defense. And they've been really impressive on that end. Let's take a break. We'll come back. I want to talk about Zeke Nnaji and Bones Highland and Flacco Campazzo and all sorts of other things to note from this game. We'll get to that when we come back on Locked On Nuggets. But first, do you want to tell you that today's episode is brought to you by McDonald's, proudly serving communities since 1965. They've always been more than just a place to get tasty, affordable food. It's a place where family and friends can come to reconnect, a place where classmates can come for a study group, knowing they'll have dependable Wi-Fi and endless supplies of French fries and McFlurries. Back in the Stone Ages, when I was in high school, after I would have Spanish club meetings or after football games or after I would get done working on sets for drama class or whatever, we would go to McDonald's. That's where we would go. And I have a lot of fond memories of hanging out in those booths with my friends. Win or lose, it's a place where teammates, competitors, the home team, or the away team can come to recharge. It's a place you always look forward to stopping at on a long road trip to rest your legs and refuel. One of my favorite memories is on Sundays, my dad would get up before my mom did. It was the only day that my dad would get before my mom, and he would get me and we would go get the newspapers. Those were a thing back in the, again, Stone Ages, and McDonald's on Sundays a lot. And that would be like our like late lunch or early lunch, late breakfast was McDonald's. I would go over NBA box scores before we would watch the Chiefs lose to the Broncos for the 800th time, it felt like, in my life. And so I have a lot of those fond memories. Head to your local McDonald's to refuel and reconnect. I'm loving it. We'll be right back on Locked On Nuggets. Final segment here on Locked On Nuggets. Want to talk about Locked On Bets, your daily one-stop shop for all your gambling needs. Locked On Bets, hosted by your boy Q, with expert analysis and insight from Lee Sterling. Find it wherever you get podcasts. Okay, final segment here. Let's wrap this up. How about Zeke Nnaji, man? Okay, so let's go back and go through the whole Zeke Nnaji saga here. So he comes in last year, and there's immediately a recognition, hey, Zeke's got some skill here. We think he's going to be drafted as a backup center. He comes in and he plays wing, and he's a 3-point shooter in the season. And I kind of made a note of he's not really rebounding at all, and that's kind of a concern and an issue. He plays really well, but then after the trade and after All-Star break, Malone removes Zeke from the rotation, not because Zeke wasn't playing well, but because he was a rookie and it was time to shorten the rotation to get ready for the playoffs. This is a pretty normal thing. Zeke goes into Summer League, and Zeke has an absolutely atrocious Summer League. It was just horrible. He obviously put on muscle because we all noted he looks huge. He just looks bigger. But it felt like that change made it to where he wasn't really comfortable in playing on the wing, and he didn't still feel big enough to play down low. Nothing made sense. That Summer League team was obviously a mess. They had COVID issues. They had a lot of problems. It was just a mess. So Zeke's confidence is kind of racked. And Malone made this comment after the game that he told him to forget about it, And I know that there's going to be people that say, and look, this is definitely true. Malone could have played him earlier. He could have, right? Again, Malone gives opportunities to guys based off of a lot of factors that have to do with how the league operates. And you give veterans opportunities over younger guys, and you give guys that are on contracts different responsibilities. But in this situation, Zeke had to play. I asked Zeke in preseason, what do you see your role as? And he was like, I see it as mostly last year playing on the wing. And I was like, uh-oh, because they needed him to be a center this year. He was great as a big tonight. He was great. Zeke goes for 19 points on 7 of 10 shooting, 2 of 3 from 3-point range, great cuts, offensive rebounds, dunks, putbacks, all sorts of stuff. Just absolutely phenomenal job. Great cuts. Racks up 5 boards, by the way, gets that done. It's fine that he was a -3. It's totally okay that they were outscored with them. Again, the bench just has to get not annihilated. That's all they got to do. Even when Jokic is out, it turns out that's all they got to do. In the second half, Zeke was a +3, by the way. Really good performance from him. Bones Highland's another one. Bones' numbers do not look good. Okay, if I read you this box score, he played 22 minutes. He was 3 of 8 from the field for 12 points. He scored 12 points on 8 shots, 3 of 8 shooting, 4 assists, 1 turnover, 3 rebounds. Okay, like did some stuff, but like didn't shoot all that great. Bones was terrific. Set the pace, set the tone, delivered great passes, found Zeke Nnaji. They had great chemistry. Attacked the rim. Like Bones got to the line for 5 free throws. That's a big deal. Bones is the only one on this team at the guard spot who's actually drawing free throws. Like Monte had no free throws tonight. Will had 2 free throws tonight. Bones Highland and Aaron Gordon were the 2 players with the highest free throws tonight for Denver in a gritty, really like had to grit it out and muscle this win out game. Bones is surprisingly, his quickness allows him to force guys to foul him because of how quick he is. They are fouling him because they cannot keep up with his speed because he turns a corner and he has gear shifts at each level that are absolutely incredible. Another player who played great tonight. How about PJ Dozier, who was willing to rise up from mid-range, hit 2 huge mid-range shots in the second half, 3 of 5 from the field, 6 points for PJ. Look, these aren't huge numbers. I get it. It's starting blocks. Like an efficient night from PJ. He's been grabbing big rebounds. Like his rebounds always feel very huge to me. He had one in the fourth quarter, an offensive rebound that was just massive. It was just a great rebound at a key juncture in the game. So good minutes from PJ Dozier. Really, everyone played well tonight. I even thought Austin Rivers, even though he's 1 of 4, I thought Austin played really well, except for Facu Campazzo. I'm not trying to make this thing. Like, I'm not pinning everything on him. I don't know what you want me to do when Facu Campazzo plays 7 minutes as a -6, and it was the only bad stint of the game for Denver. That's it. Like, that was the only reason they were trailing, was that stint that he had. It's just rough. Maybe he'll play better. Maybe things will change and the rotations or adjustments or whatever. Maybe it'll just be different, at another point. But he didn't play in the second half. Marcus Howard got his minutes. Marcus Howard, and was a +2, by the way. Didn't get outscored in 4 minutes and 54 seconds. So that's good. Everybody was a plus in the second half except for JaMychal Green and Aaron Gordon. That's it, because of the start to the third. That's it. Everybody was really good. By the way, second half, Barton had 20 points on 8 of 14 shooting. Just liquid nitrogen from Will Barton. This game is a microcosm of what Denver has built. They're capable guys that know how to play basketball, and they really do take on the next man up thing. Is like, it's what everybody says, but I don't know how else to tell you this. Like, it really means something in Denver. Like, they take pride in it. They really do. I've seen this too much. I've seen too many of these wins. How many times have we been on this podcast marveling that they got a win? They were shorthanded. On the one hand, it's incredible. They were without freaking Nikola. They were without Joker. On the other, how many times do I have to see this before it's not surprising to me? This is who they are. The Nuggets have a lot of really good players. It is not just Joker and some dudes. And they got a really quality win tonight. They are now, they have beaten the Heat. They have beaten the Pacers. They have beaten the Rockets. Like, they are taking care of business. They are getting it done. They'll be back in action on Friday. We'll be back tomorrow with more reaction on this game. Adam's going to join me tomorrow. Thanks for joining me on Locked On Nuggets. Make sure to rate, review, subscribe. Check out the show on YouTube. Give us a like and a subscribe on YouTube. Helps us out a lot. If you want to support the show, that's the best way to do it. Help us out and spread the word on YouTube. Hit us up on Twitter. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks for joining us on this inspiring, thrilling edition of Locked On Nuggets. Enjoy your Thursday.